The college basketball experience, Atlantic Sun, aka the ASUN Conference Preview Edition on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you use the sign-up code TCESGPN. Welcome, everybody, into the college basketball experience. Welcome back to the college basketball experience. YouTube.com/the college experience for those tuning in. Talking ASUN. This is a great league, very entertaining league, well-balanced league, good coaches, good mid-major programs, entertaining. I mean, the conference tournament has been off the charts the last couple of years in this league. So we will break down all 12 teams, give out our rankings, give out our winners, who's going to cut down the nets, and much more. But if you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Everything's operating like a Monday over here. A little step slow over here. The music's not working. Slides are all over the place. Notes are all over the place, but it's all good. We're here. We're live, and college hoops 5 weeks away. The Missouri Valley got kicked off today with Media Day, so we are in the season, baby. Joining me to talk college hoops, you guys know from the college baseball experience. He is the LeBaron driving, cocktail napkin having. He is Noah Bienick. What's up, Noah?
How's it going, guys? Let's have some fun. Part 2 on the ASUN already. Made a mistake there at the beginning of the show, but we were able to restart it. I will say, very fun league, like Mac already mentioned, and I'm excited to talk about it. But today, dealing with a little bit of sniffles, allergies are getting to me with the summer to fall seasons change. Always kicks my ass. So I'll do my best to ride the mute button here.
It's that Michigan water up there. You got to watch it. You got to watch your cornholes up there, everybody.
Yeah, how close to Flint are you?
Hour. Yeah.
Third man in the booth. You guys hear him? You guys know him from the college basketball pregame show. The DC Sports Messiah, a.k.a. the green mowing, weed growing Troy Chewning. What's up, brother?
What's going on, guys? Always nice to get a second try. Second string quarterback seems to be good. This is like we're just playing our own two-man scramble here. Noah, we'll take another tee shot and we'll just move on. No big deal.
Thank you.
It's gonna be a fun little preview. Probably, like I said, you're gonna hear me say culture probably quite a bit in this one and some of the early leagues previews that we're doing here. But yeah, definitely a fun one. Definitely a kind of a solid chance here, wide open to take some bigger numbers on maybe some preseason futures and stuff too.
I completely agree. Noah, last year I think we did pretty well in this league. I mean, I thought we hit it for the most part. I mean, I know Lipscomb was a heavy favorite, so it really wasn't a bold take. But to recap us how we did.
Yeah, we both had Lipscomb as the pick. They were a team that I really liked. I had a couple of buddies that always kind of hit me up in college basketball preseason. What's your favorite mid-major for the year? What's the team that we should be rooting for to make it into March that you think might be dangerous? And I said Lipscomb just because of how much talent was in their backcourt, and Jacob Agnesevich as well. They were just fire from deep. We both picked them to win the league. They tied for the regular season crown with North Alabama. You picked those Lions to represent the league in the conference tournament, but I doubled up with Lipscomb. They end up winning the ASUN tournament there. I believe you mentioned to me last year in the show that the one seed in the ASUN never wins it. They were able to pull it out. Our sleepers were pretty good. Queens and Jacksonville. Queens, you had they finished 11-7, which I think was much better than I thought they were going to, be. We thought they would be middle of the pack. You predicted them to come in the top 4 of the standings there. And 11-7 was a great season for the Royals. I had Jacksonville. They would go 12-6 in the league, finish tied for 4th. So I was on the fringe there of being correct. It's a controversial thing that we don't have to hash out here. And we both had Stetson as the bust. The Hatters go 8-24 overall, 6-12 in conference play, just a year after representing the league in the NCAA tournament. So a big step back for the Hatters.
Indeed. Let's start with the Govs here on the other side. But first, the merch store sale ends at the end of September. 25% off using our promo code football. You can get one of these over there, a nice college football experience mug. So cheers, everybody, and let it ride. All right, let's get over those slides. There's the Governors. Coach Corey Gipson, he played there for the great Dave Valuce once upon a time. So he is one of their own. He is famous for his coaching attire. The military appreciation night, pretty much every night with Gipson, with Fort Campbell. There's a big, strong military presence in Clarksville, Tennessee. So Gipson, being from there, playing there, understands it. This is his 3rd year controlling the sidelines in Clarksville. 33-35 overall. The first year, you see there, the 22-11, that was at Northwestern State before he got the Austin Peay job. 19-16, takes a step back. They do have a bunch coming back. Noah, break it down.
Yeah, in 2 seasons under Coach Corey Gipson, Austin Peay, they've had a top 35 turnover percentage in the entire country. You'd think that might translate to a little bit more winning basketball in conference. However, they're just 18-16. And that's kind of evident because the Govs just haven't been able to establish an inside game. They've been pretty good from the outside, though. They were money from deep in year 1, had the best 3-point shooting percentage, 2nd best offense in the league. But they had the worst defensive efficiency in the ASUN per KenPom. And in year 2, the defense got better, but the offense took a step back. And according to Torvik, Austin Peay's got the 2nd most experienced squad in the ASUN. There's a lot to like with this roster. They returned 3 starters from last year that all played 26 minutes or more per game. 2 redshirt seniors in that backcourt, Quan Lax and Anton Brookshire. Lax put up 5.7 points per game, 2.5 boards, and 2 assists. And then Brookshire shot 34.5%, almost 5 threes per game, and had 8.5 points per game, 2.5 assists per game. And the other guy that returns is Tate McCubbin, a sophomore this year after playing 26.5 minutes per game his freshman year, averaged 10.5, 4.5, and shot 39% from 3 as a 6'8", 4. So really good piece there for Austin Peay. You have Hansel Emmanuel, who's actually really solid defensively last year, and he was aggressive on the glass with just the one hand. But huge piece for this Austin Peay squad. I think he followed Gipson from Northwestern State, if I remember correctly. Then Matt Enright is a D2 transfer from Missouri St. Louis. Creighton Moorish is a transfer from Sioux Falls Division II school there. Rashad Marshall is a 6'8" junior forward from Arkansas State. And Colin Parker from Columbia College and NAIA school. And Travis Terrain, Panola Junior College transfer, round out the newcomers onto the squad. One that I think should be in the top half of the conference for sure, Troy.
Yeah, I really like having Brookshire and Emmanuel there as like a little bit of backcourt. Emmanuel as depth kind of gives you something in the conference that you're probably not going to see from a bunch of teams in here. I do think getting, Rashad Marshall to grab some boards will really help them. But I think we see a pretty solid upper part of the mid-range of the conference here performance from Austin Peay this year.
I agree with both of you. I will have the team in the top half. We'll see if Gipson can get it closer to what it was in year 1, and maybe even jump in and win 20 games potentially. They did win a bye game last year at Butler, so they have been no stranger to pulling some of these big upsets.
Thad Mata donated a few bye games last year.
Oh yeah, he's done that in his second tenure a lot at Butler. A new man on the sideline at Bellarmine, aka Bellarmine, as Colby loves to say. So Bellarmine, his old man was the head coach there for God knows, I think 30 years.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's so Davenport, the young Davenport, the new head coach now in year one. This will be what, his 11th year in the program. He played there from 2006 to 2010. So I would imagine more of the same here with Scott Davenport retiring and now Doug taking over. I mean, this has been their program for the last 2+ decades. So more of a lot of sharp cuts in the Bellarmine brand of basketball.
Yeah, much like you, kind of safely assuming that Bellarmine's play style is going to stay the same here, which is that classic staples, the lack of athleticism, the terrible consistent bottom half defense, but the quirky and fun offense to root for, and that's tough to prepare for, quite frankly. So the Knights do return 3 guys that played 20+ minutes a season ago, and Kenyon Gooden, Tyler Doyle in the backcourt, and then Jack Karasinski, a 6'7" senior forward who averaged 15.5 points per game for the Knights last year, shot almost 4 threes a game at 38.5% clip. Big piece for Bellarmine there. They have a couple of transfers coming in. Donovan Hunter, a 6'8" junior forward from Kent State who didn't get a whole lot of burn with the Golden Flashes last year. Michael Wilson is a D2 transfer from North Greenville who put up 18 points per game, 6.5 boards, shot at 36.5% from 3, 43% from the floor. Brian Waddell is a Purdue transfer that didn't play a whole lot there. And a D3 transfer from UW Stevens Point, Darius Bolden, a 5th-year senior who played 30 minutes a game. He's just kind of going to be more of a role player, but that rounds out a lot of their incoming transfers. It's a big freshman class as well, with Doug Davenport being able to sustain some recruiting there. So good to see that Bellarmine didn't completely, kind of turn over, and that there is some stability here for the Knights. And I think that provides them a good floor that they should be around the middle of the pack in the ASUN this season.
Yeah, the Brian Waddell transfer, if he can stay healthy, I think that this kind of helps the fact that we know that their defense is not, their defense is white, so it's not going to be the most, athletic and strong. But again, you get Gooden and Doyle, that backcourt experience, and especially transitioning coaches, even though we were pretty much guaranteed to see the same play style. It's nice to have those guys that can operate the team the way that you want them to. But yeah, this hinges, if Brian Waddell can make a bigger difference, I kind of see them jumping up a little bit compared to last year. But like you said, that could raise their floor pretty high.
They, from a returning production, they're at the top part of it in returning minutes. Then actually the first 2 teams, Austin Peay and Bellarmine, are the top 2. So yeah, the advanced metrics like Bellarmine, they must like the white guys here to take a little bit of a step.
Well, who do you think is the one creating the formula?
the Bellarmine alumni here, baby. So it's a new coach in terms of manning the sideline. First time, Doug Davenport will have to call timeouts, draw up plays, and run his program his way. But you would imagine Scott's still going to have his handprints all over this program. So I think that they'll make a little bit of a jump here compared to the last couple of years where they've struggled.
Yeah, especially I think that this league may be just a bit down compared to years past, and I think that's going to help out the Knights because, like you mentioned, it's not a lot, but it is some of the most returning production you're going to see in this league.
Indeed. All right, let's go over Central Arkansas. Year 1 of the John Shulman era ended at 9-24. But Shulman has won wherever he's been. He was good at Alabama, Huntsville. He was good at Chattanooga as well. He went to multiple NCAA tournaments, and he advanced at Alabama, Huntsville to multiple Division II Sweet 16. So Shulman, veteran coach here. I kind of think that they'll take a step here just because he got year 1 out of the way, got his culture in place. They don't have the most returning production, but I do think they will be a little bit improved. Noah, what do you think of these Bears?
Yeah, there were a lot of new coaches last year that came from either the D2 ranks, the JUCO, or NAI division levels that I kind of liked. And I went back to some of my notes on Coach John Shulman, and he had a 112-39 record with that D2 Alabama Huntsville program. He reached 2 Elite Eights, but in year one here with Central Arkansas, kind of struggled to establish a little bit of an identity other than operating at just a slow pace, which just made games kind of, I don't know, less exciting to watch in a normally exciting ASUN. The offense and defense finished in the basement of Ken Palm efficiency categories, and Central Arkansas's roster is basically completely turned over outside of Cole McCormick, who is the lone returning starter here. But a unique story as well is Cameron Hunter. He's a boomerang transfer. He had a cup of coffee with Wisconsin last year, was injured for 2023-24, or was injured for 2023-24. 2022-2023 is the year that he played last, like a full season with a good consistent role, and that was with the Central Arkansas Bears. He averaged 17, 5, and 4 with 1.5 steals per game. He's back in Conway, and this should be this year's starting point guard. I think he's going to help the offense out quite a bit. And with that said, UCA has by far the least experienced roster per Torvik. So they're going to rely a lot on Cam Hunter and Cole McCormick. Rashad Bolden is a D2 transfer from Mississippi College who started his college career at McNeese State. This is a piece that I really like. He's a 6-foot senior guard who played 38 minutes a game last year, 25 points per game, 4.5 boards, 4.5 assists, shot at 40% from deep. And then a couple other newcomers here are Parker Applegate, a 6'8 junior forward who played 32.5 minutes last year per game with D2 Union, and Riley Marshall, a D2 transfer from Harding, who is a 6'1 senior guard who played 25.5 minutes a season ago, averaged 14 points per game, shot at 38% from deep on 6 attempts per game. And then there's Chris Mason, who's a 6'7 sophomore forward who averaged 12 and 8.5 at Northeast Oklahoma A&M. I'm not quite sure what to expect from this guy. Like, if you can picture kind of, I don't want to, like one of those bigger forwards that we love. He's got a little extra weight to him, but he put up good numbers at his JUCO last year. So this could be a fun name to remember throughout the year at Central Arkansas.
Yeah, this one, I don't know if I feel as confident as some of the chat and Mac and this team taking necessarily a definite step forward or something like that. But Cam Hunter being back means I'm probably going to roll some pretty good underdog props on him throughout the year. Outside of that, I couldn't really tell you too much about this other than Torvik predicts them to have a really bad defense. So not quite as high on them, I think, as Moneyline Mac.
I'm more so buying into Shulman's track record and coming off his worst year as a head coach in his 30-year or 20-year career. So I'll bank on Shulman getting these guys figuring out what he needs to win in the ASUN and taking a step forward this year. All right, let's go over to the next team, and that's the EKU Colonels, baby. A.W. Hamilton doing a great job, former guest on the show. Year 8 now in Richmond, Kentucky. 122 and 102 at Eastern Kentucky. He was 237 and 22 at Hargrave Military Academy. So that's where his 359 wins comes from. Everybody knows EKU. They like to play fast. Fastest 40 minutes in basketball, 40 minutes of hell. Noah, what do you think of these Colonels led by AW next year?
Yeah, I will say I went back and checked it. Like during the first few seasons with Coach A.W. Hamilton, Eastern Kentucky, they were operating at sometimes the fastest, but they were one of the fastest paces in the country. However, I'm not quite sure if it's by design or not, but since EKU's move into the ASUN, you can look at the numbers, and they've just been gradually coming back to the pack compared to the rest of the nation. I don't know if that's because of ASUN opponents that are slowing them down more effectively, but these past 2 seasons notably have been less average possessions per game for the Colonels. But the offense hasn't slowed down, like, production-wise. Quite honestly, it's gotten a little bit better. They've had 2 straight top 4 offenses in the ASUN with A.W. Hamilton. Toomer Butchery returns from last year. He shot 40% from 3 on 4 attempts per game, played 26.5 minutes, 8.5 points per game. He's a 5'11 guard, super fun to watch. They also get Amar Knox, who's a 6'3 senior guard who transfers in from Alabama State to kind of round out that backcourt. I think it's going to be a really good backcourt. Knox last year averaged 14.5 points per game, 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals per game. You also have Montavious Myrick returning. He's a graduate senior who's a 6'8 forward, played 24 minutes a game last year, averaged 7 and 8 on 65% shooting. They're excited about Tyler Jackson. Landed a good freshman, rated inside the top 150 according to 247. So, there's some exciting pieces here. Once again, for EKU, they do lose quite a bit, just like everybody else in this conference. But if you're looking to bet on culture, coaching, A.W. Hamilton's a great place to start.
Yeah, this A.W. Hamilton just finds a way to win conference games. 3 straight years?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Lovemere Knox, they get Cranford from St. Francis. I think this is going to be a pretty dang good team in this league. I also think you might be able to roll Tyler Jackson as newcomer of the year in the league. Even as a freshman recruit, he's pretty dang good.
And Noah, I think back to your tempo comment. If you look at AW, they year one of each league, I remember when we played them in the OVC, they were crazy fast back then. It took AW 1 year, and then after that, they took it on the chin a little bit in year one there, going 6-12 in league play. But after that, year 2 in the OVC, 12 wins. Year 3, they win 15. They do the same thing in the transition to the ASUN, 5-11 year 1, figure out what he needs to do to win this league, the different tempos. And then to Troy's point, 3 straight 12-win seasons. Yep. They're going to be in my top 4 again because A.W. Hamilton's coaching.
Super consistent.
Yeah, this solid program. Also, you know what else is solid? MyBookie.ag, baby. Okay, if you want to bet on college hoops and those EKU Colonels, get on over there to MyBookie. Your place to bet on football and everything else. They're prop builder, second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head over to mybookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN for a 100% deposit back up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Novig is an exchange where you can get plenty of the best prices in the market, available in 35-plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 off when you spend $5 if you're using our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action. Novig promo code SGPN. All right, next up on the dock, we got Florida Gulf Coast. This has been an interesting team. Pat Chambers, the former coach at Penn State, now is in year number 4 down there at Gulf Coast. Pat Chambers won a lot of games over the years, 240 and 226. Last year was a good year, 13-5 in league play. They took a step, cracked into the top 3. Talent in the roster has never been an issue. It feels like consistency with this program. No, what do you think of these Eagles down there in Florida?
Yeah, I would agree with a lot of what you said. It's kind of been a steady climb for Florida Gulf Coast in Coach Pat Chambers' 3 seasons here. His first game, if you remember, in his tenure 3 years ago, Chambers knocked off Andy Enfield in USC.
Yeah.
But the season didn't quite live up to that high of a moment. They finished under 500 in the ASUN. Year 2, the Eagles finished 500. And then last year, the Gulf Coast finishes in 3rd place, 13-5. FGCU's had a top 4 defense in each of the past 2 seasons. It feels like they've got some things going in the right order and have some momentum building into this year. FGCU does lose 4 starters, but they return 3 guys that played 20 plus minutes per game last season. That starts with Ramir Barno, the projected point guard for this year, after averaging 3.5 assists in 28.5 minutes per game. He's the one returning starter from last season. He'll have to unlock a little bit more scoring. Only put up 8 points per game last year. And then 2 returning forwards, 6'5" Michael Doe, or Duax, but I think that's French. He's a redshirt senior who played 23 minutes a game last year, averaged 7 and 4.5, shot at 48.5% from the floor. And then Rory Stewart, a 6'8" senior, played 20 minutes a game, averaged 6.5 and 3 with 43.5% shooting percentage from the floor, 40.5% from deep on 4 threes per game. They have J.R. Konechny, transfer from Notre Dame, coming in. He's a 6'6" senior guard who played 16 minutes a game for the Fighting Irish when he saw the floor. Isaiah Malone is a St. Francis NAIA transfer. He played 28.5 minutes a game last year, 16 points per game, 7.5 boards, shot at 67% from the field, 52.5% from 3 on a limited sample size. And George Washington III, former Michigan guard. Last year he transferred to Richmond, still didn't really get on the floor for the Spiders. So one of the more coveted pieces in a Juwan Howard recruiting class not too long ago, GW3, is now with FGCU. But overall, I like the momentum that Pat Chambers has in this program. I think they're going to be contending for a title this year. The size on this roster is something that you got to like, and I do love that if you're going to return only one starter from last year, let it be your point guard and give them a little bit more reign to have control of the offense. So I like the Eagles this year.
Now, the one note that I had too is how the fuck do you pronounce Duax or Duo or whatever you wanted to say?
Yeah.
But listed along that is, you get Barno, you got Konechny or whatever. But that's got to be what I think is the best backcourt in this league. It all kind of comes down to Isaiah Malone. If he can play anywhere near what he has, even if he can take a little bit of a step forward, I think that raises their ceiling way, way, way high. I'm pretty high on this FGCU team in this conference this year. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into the rankings later on in the show, but this is not going to be one of the first couple of teams that we say when we start off from the bottom, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you uncap the ceiling of a 20-minute per game producer and Rory Stewart last year, this is a guy that shot at almost 4 threes a game, 40% clip. Give him 28 minutes, 29 minutes this season, and that kid might turn into a star too. So, I'm kind of high on the front court with you, Troy.
Yeah, I like this team's size and physicality. This is a contender. They're going to be right there to win the league. 13-5 last year in league play. I think they're similar to that this year. So stay tuned. They may be picked as a contender. The Dolphins, baby. My guy Jordan Mincy over there doing a good job. They finished 4th last year, went 12-6. So a nice year. Year 5 now for Mincy with the Dolphins. Year 1 was his best year actually when he won 21 games. But last year was a nice step up. They were able to stay healthy. So, Bienick, what do you think of these Dolphins in year 5 of Mincy?
Yeah, I'm writing something down real quick, but this is Colby's guy. He's not on the preview today, but if Colby were to say that there's one program that he really does believe in the trajectory of with their current coach, that's Jordan Mincy's Dolphins. They've had the best defensive efficiency in the ASUN per Ken Palm over the last 2 years, back-to-back seasons, number 1. Jacksonville, they just haven't been able to sustain offensive success year after year. And it's going to be a much tougher time for them to try to do that on that side of the ball without Robert McRae V, who we loved, who his father tuned into our shows often. Yeah. And then the rest of their top 6 scorers. They lose their top 6 scorers from just last season, one of the better years for Mincy. The potential returning starter, this roster, according to the Jim Root roster sheet and a Google search of mine, Jacksonville has not finalized the roster yet. I think they're waiting on Jakari Spence, who was their point guard last year, would be one of the returning starters that they do have. He played 27.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 4 assists, 4 boards, 8.5 points, shot at 38.5% from the field. But he's trying to get a red shirt for his 2021-2022 season. Chris Lockett is a Boise State transfer who only played 12 and a half minutes per game. Boise State, really good program. Take a step down in conference level. This kid might have something here for the Dolphins, and they're going to hope that he can expand a little bit on that offensive side of the game to support Chris Arias, because he's the other wing, and this is their dead eye. Shot at 41% from deep on 3.5 attempts. He's going to have more of an expanded role, more than 22 minutes per game here. They're going to see what he can bring them, because last year it was just 6.5 points per game. Kendall Munson's the other returner that has 22.5 minutes per game next to his name here. He's a 6'8 senior forward, shot at 54% from the field. And then other incoming newcomers that could play a big role here. Jalen Jones may end up being the starting point guard if Jakari Spence isn't on the roster. Jalen Jones is an Oakland transfer who didn't have a steady role with Greg Campy and the ever-changing starting five that they had last year, which was kind of crazy. Jalen Jones played 22 minutes a game last year, averaged 3 assists per game. Not much of a score. And then Alan Udamadu is a Missouri State transfer who only played 6 minutes a game, but he's a 6'10 forward that might have a big role on this team too. Charles Caporaso is the other newcomer who comes in from Coffeyville Junior College. Jacksonville, I think they have a pretty high floor because of the defensive consistency. And in this league, being able to slow a couple of these offensive powerhouses, maybe a little too strong of a word, but a lot of offense first programs. Jacksonville is a nice joker card to have in the deck that is tough to prepare for on the, was it Thursday, Saturday, or the Friday, Sunday league. Tough turnaround for sure, though, after we've seen Jacksonville have a couple of good years in a row here.
First of all, we got to shout out Kramer right now. I'm pretty sure Darren Waller just got first TD, which is one of the most hilarious calls.
Yeah.
This Jacksonville team, the biggest issue is obviously filling that hole that Robert McCray leaves. But, you know, like he brought up, Lockett will help fill that. They do have the culture that is, you know, you'll be able to beat some of the bottom teams because you actually play pretty good defense. But this is another one. I think you've got a chance on like a freshman of the year here. Hayden Wood, 6'6" incoming freshman from Harbor High School in Arkansas. I like his game, kind of an oversized guard for this league. So I think you've got a chance with that freshman kind of showing up, especially early in the year. If they put some projections up for him, we're going to jump on those.
I think the Dolphins are probably middle of the pack. Like you said, they don't have as much returning this year compared to last year, but I trust Mincy for them to be chippy as a dog here in some spots in ASUN play. All right, let's go over new man running Lipscomb. Coach Acuff goes down to Sanford after Buckyball gets an A&M job. Kevin Carroll comes over from Trevecca, which is a school located in Nashville. He worked at Lipscomb, I think. I think he was an assistant for 3 years, is what I was just seeing. Of course, my notes disappeared. He was at Lipscomb from 19 to 23. So he's familiar with this program. He won at Trevecca, which put him in position to get this Lipscomb job. I would imagine that their culture stays somewhat intact, considering how special a year they had last year. But I think they will take a step back in year one of Carroll compared to where they were last year.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous of how low this floor could potentially be, because Kevin Carroll at Trevecca Nazarene, a D2 school in the GMAC, which is my backyard, it wasn't like next level good, like exponentially, like this is a guy that needs to be a D1 coach immediately. This is more of a hire to try to keep it somewhat congruent and have a little bit of familiarity for a lot of this roster, as it was able to relatively stick together. They've got a couple of seniors that I'll talk about that will go for one more run with the Bisons. Also drives me crazy that that's got an S on the end. Anyways, so Kevin Carroll brings over his point guard from Trevecca Nazarene, and that's Mateo Esmeraldo. With the Trojans, Esmeraldo averaged a whopping 7 assists per game while putting up 12 points per game with a 51% field goal percentage. The other D2 transfers that Carroll's going to bring in from, you would like to think that he's pretty familiar with the D2 ranks and some guys that he's played that he's going to take to D1 with them. That would be a couple of sharpshooters from deep. Ethan Duncan, who averaged 16 points per game on 41% from 3, and then Cole Middleton, 14.5 points per game on 37% from deep. Those shooters are surrounded by a couple of seniors that are trying to finish out their career with Lipscomb, that being Miles White, Grant Asman, and Charlie Williams, all of whom didn't play more than 17 minutes a game. Asman and Williams enter the portal, but they do come back to Lipscomb. So I like the D2 gambles in the backcourt, surrounded by some seniors in the front court. There's some ingredients for this team to be pretty feisty, but Kevin Carroll obviously hasn't done it on the sideline in a Division I game. This hire seemed more a little more risky to me, that I'm not quite all the way bought in on. Troy, how do you feel?
Yeah, this is a team that played really, really well last year, and all I really see out of what they're bringing back is their front court might be okay, but outside of that, I see this team as a kind of a pretty definite step back, specifically compared to, such a good season last year. But I definitely see a drop off coming here for Lipscomb.
Yeah, when we say bust, this will probably be the prime candidate because they will take a step back. But I mean, it's also taking a step back from what was an unbelievable special year. So
yeah,
I don't think that they're going to finish like in the bottom half or bottom tier, but I think they're closer to the middle of the pack than contending this year.
100%. When I say I don't know where I should expect that floor to be, is somewhere in the like 6 to 10 range. I don't think they fall into that basement there.
All right, let's talk Underdog Fantasy, baby. Underdog is a great place to play Fantasy Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats. Available in plenty of states and a ton of sports to get down on some action with the NFL, college football, you name it. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you use our promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is off to a great start in college football and the NFL. Introduced a new leaderboard with the cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets on the same type of from any model you build, and you could win $1,000. Use our promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download the Rhythm and use our promo code SGPN25. All right, next up on the board. Oh, yeah, baby. Tony Pujol, head coach of the North Alabama Lions, friend of the program. He came on our coaches tour last year. Year 8 now down there in Florence, Alabama. This guy is one of the more underrated coaches in America. What he's been able to build North Alabama into has been remarkable. They didn't even have a program before he got there, and he's each year they've gotten better and better. They did have one bad year around COVID, but last year was a special year with that veteran group. 24 wins, 14-4, share the regular season title. If Lipscomb wasn't damn good, they would have won the conference tournament. But Pujol is a legend down there in Florence, and we know what we're getting with them. They're going to be well coached, and they're going to play hard.
Yeah, like you mentioned, last season, the best team that they had put together. It had been kind of a slow and steady climb for Coach Pujol at North Alabama, but last year they had a top 3 rated offense and defense, and man, was that backcourt with Jakari Lane special. In total, 4 starters do depart, but North Alabama also has 3 guys that returned from last season that played more than 20 minutes per game. Those being Dallas Howell, who played 24.5 minutes a game, averaged 11.5 points per game, shot at 35% from 3 on 6.5 attempts per game. And then also Cornelius Williams, a 6'9" forward who played 30 minutes a game, averaged 9-9 with a 63.5% percentage from the field. Dante Backus is the last one. Played 20 minutes per game, 8.5 points per game, 4 boards, shot at 54% from the field, 46.5% from 3. Those guys are going to be supported by Cannon Jefferson, who's going to take a big step up in roles on this team. He's a 6'2" guard who only played 15.5 minutes per game last year, and a couple of JUCO transfers. Cater Bodie, who comes in from Bishop State. He was ranked the 15th best JUCO transfer portal player. Put up 21.5 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 3 assists. And then DeAndreon Washington, who's a 6'7" junior forward who at Coastal Alabama, 16 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game there. And then we've got a pretty sizable freshman class that could be a little bit of a grab bag for the Lions. But overall, front court's got some experience and some returning starters that you have to love. And there's some JUCO gambles in the backcourt here.
Yeah, and I think the JUCO gambles are kind of ballers. I love Bodie's game. Washington should really, really raise their floor. I believe in Williams and Backus up front too. I got to side with Mr. Jalapeno. I think this is a team that's worth betting to win the league. The best thing that Tony Pujol does is his teams take care of the fucking basketball. They do not turn the ball over. And in a league like this, you can win 3 extra games by simply turning the ball over 2 or 3 less times. That always seems to apply to this North Alabama team. I love them. Loved them in D2. They were kind of I've got my Florida Southern shirt on, but we ended up playing them quite a bit in some D2 playoffs.
And Pujol comes from the Frank Martin tree down there, the Cuban population in Miami. Pujol is a Miami guy as well, and started the high school ranks and worked his way up. And those guys just run tough programs. So I'm with you guys. I don't think I know that they do lose a lot. That backcourt was awesome last year, led by Lane. But I trust the culture of this program to stay competitive and still compete for the league championship again.
Sign me up for some Austin Peay North Alabama games this year.
Oh, dude, they hate each other. It's chippy between Gipson and
they're both going to be competing for a title, I think.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, and there was no love loss between those two last year. North Alabama beat their ass 3 straight times. It was great. Bobby Kennan from North Florida here. So Driscoll does step down.
This was weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, Driscoll's an old school guy. So I know that he's not – we had him on the show as well. He is not the biggest fan of this new portal NIL era. So takes a step down. But, I mean, Kennan's been with –
He's the associate head coach at Kansas State right now too.
Yeah, because him and Tang worked together for Scott Drew at Baylor. So, yeah, that was a good hire by Tang, because Tang needs a little bit of pop in his program. We know how much energy Driscoll brings. Kennan's been with Driscoll since I think 2009. So he's more of the same here. Just like we talked about with Bellarmine earlier, guy that associate coach, been with the program for 15 years. What do you think, Noah? I mean, break down the roster here as we transition from Driscoll to Kennan.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for Kennan, I think. He was on the coaching staff prior to Driscoll leaving a little bit late in the cycle, which allowed some guys that I think had plans to come back ended up leaving. They only returned one guy who played more than 20 minutes a game last year, and that's Cameron Oriole, who is a 6'2" senior guard who played 21 minutes a game, shot 35% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. That's what the Ospreys love. They'll rain it in from deep. They've also got a couple other transfers that can shoot it. Devin Hines, a 6'4 grad senior who played 22.5 minutes per game, averaged 10 and 4.5, shot 4.5 threes per game, but not at a very good clip with Lafayette last year. You got a Jacksonville transfer in conference. That's Kent Jackson, a 6'3 sophomore who only played 11 minutes a game last year for the Dolphins. They're excited about a couple of guys here that I don't know a whole lot about. One, Alex Vargo, a JUCO transfer from Garrett, who played at Youngstown State earlier on in his college career. He averaged 26.5 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists last year. And then a freshman, Mason Watkins, who's a 6'3 guard that they're going to expect to be the point guard this year. So interesting group of guys here. In my opinion, I'm not super high on this team. I have them finishing near the bottom of the pack.
Yeah, the only notes that I had on this team was they weren't that great last year, and everybody transferred out. To be fair, I guess if you wanted to spin that positively, you don't want to return a bunch of guys from a bad team, right? So you might as well give the transfers a try. But yeah, I don't have too many expectations for this team. But like you said, there's a few guys that, playing hires on underdogs 3-point made, you'd be able to add some spices with this team because they're going to bomb them up one way or another.
I'll disagree. I don't know if North Florida was necessarily a bad team last year. They lost some gas down the stretch of the year, but this is a team that also beat South Carolina, Georgia Tech. They rattled off a couple of bye
games. It just kind of fell off as the season went on.
Yeah. So
I guess that's a better way to put it. Like they finished bad. They weren't bad the whole year. They just slowly deteriorated.
Yep.
2 years ago they were really good, and then they were younger last year. So this team's kind of a wild card team for me. I probably going to be in the bottom half for me. But I mean, I think there's a lot of variance with this team. All righty, next up, we got the Queens Royals. Grant Leonard, baby, Grant Leonard. He's a good coach. He's been with the Queens program for a decade plus. 2013, he got there, worked his way up. Bart Lundy went over to Milwaukee. Grant Leonard slides in, 52 and 49 in 3 years. So year number 4. So them and Elon are merging. Who coaches the team?
Won't they just have 2 campuses still? So they'll just have 2 teams.
Is that how it's going to work?
We'll just get a sweet team like University of Elon, University of Queens, University of Carolina or something.
I was curious how this was going to work. Chad, if you know how this did it, I don't know if I just saw the headline that Elon and Queens were merging. Those are 2 solid mid-major programs. So I'm interested to see if they merge on the basketball court as well and how that would work. But, Leonard's a good coach. They took a nice step last year, winning 20 games. No, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess that's a headline that I might have missed during baseball season there. But, through 3 seasons in the ASUN with Grant Leonard as the coach, Queens has been in the standings pretty mid, and then also statistics-wise, offensive, defensively, kind of middle of the pack. But they've been an ATM against the spread for us. This is a program that we've really liked to back lately. And I think this is the year that the Royals might take that step forward and contend for an ASUN title. You've got Bryce Cash, Chris Ashby, Nasir Mann, 3 upperclassmen in that backcourt coming back for another year. Bryce Cash, man, 27 minutes a game last year. He was pretty dang good offensively. Chris Ashby, graduate senior, played 28 minutes a game last year. He was letting them go from deep. Took almost 9.5 attempts per game, which is ridiculous, but that's kind of Queen's strength is the 3 ball. Nasir Mann, 50.5 minutes a game. He's a senior who averaged 6.5 and 3. Extrapolate his role over a little bit more time on the floor, and I think he's going to be pretty good. He shot 35.5% from deep. And then you've got a couple of transfers coming in. Avante Parker is a 6'9 junior forward who at Georgia Southern didn't really shoot it a ton, but this is a guy that they believe can open it up from deep for them. Carson Schwieger, who, if you remember his older brother, his name is slipping my head, but he was a big ticket item in the portal this year. Carson's a 6'8" redshirt sophomore from Valpo, who, if he can shoot it like his brother, which last year he shot 35% from three, this might be a really good piece for Queens. They've got Gus Larson, also a transfer from Cal, who didn't play a whole lot last year. And then a couple of freshmen on the roster here. But Queens, I really like that backcourt. This is going to be one of the better backcourts in the conference. And I have Queens firmly in a race for the conference title here as well.
Yeah, I at least had them bumped all the way up to the top of what I would consider like a 3-tiered league here. I have them at least at the top of that mid-tier, if not all the way bumped up into the higher tier this year. Just getting Ashby, man, and Bryce Cash back in the backcourt really help you negate some of the things that North Alabama wants to do. They're definitely a team that already looked like they can hang, and I feel like they got some value in the offseason with their roster kind of improving, to be completely honest. I really like this Queens team, too, this year.
Yep, 3 across the board.
It's easy to back to ATM when there's the player on the team is named Cash, right?
Yes,
like it's an unstoppable pairing.
Yeah, and Leonard, man, no one talks about it. Like they've been knocking on the door. They were 8th and 9th the first 2 years, then they jump up to 6. They get to the semifinals of the conference tournament last year. They've been knocking on the door. I think that they could contend for a top 4 spot this year. Next up, Donnie Jones over there at Stetson, 241 and 231. Donnie Jones, what year 7 now at Stetson? 2 years ago, they make the NCAA tournament after finishing 2nd and 3rd. Donnie Jones has had success at UCF, success at Marshall. Overall, a solid career. And interested to see if the Hatters can bounce back off what was the regression year last year, Noah.
Yeah, I was kind of stunned at just how low their floor was for last year. I wouldn't have predicted it to be that far. Like, standings wise, they kind of landed 9th where we were kind of predicting them, but 8 and 24 overall was rough. And this team at times was not very competitive, getting blown out in their losses. How much you like this team is going to depend on how much you like some of their NAIA transfer portal gambles. That's Calvin Sermons, who played 33.5 minutes a game last year at NAIA Kaiser, but he's a 5'8" point guard who shot it 36.5% from 3. That was a lot of his game. Averaged 15.5 points per game, 6.5 assists. I think he's going to have to step into more of a distribution role with Stetson, because if he's not Marquise Noel, he might struggle in this league, because I feel like there's a lot of size on some of these rosters. Jake Johnson is the other NAI transfer from Indiana University East. And he's a 6'5" senior guard who averaged almost 20 points per game, 5.5 boards, 3 assists, shot at 49% from the field, 42% from 3. I think he's a really good wing piece that if all you're asking him to do is shoot, I think he'll be able to step up for you. Those two in the backcourt, those NAI transfers, are surrounded by Jamie Phillips, the freshman last year, played 30 minutes a game, averaged 11 points, 4 boards, 37% from deep on 2.5 attempts per game, and 45% from the field. I think he's going to be a massive contributor for this team this year. And then Jordan Wood, he's a 6'10" returning forward who played 27 minutes a game last year, averaged 12 points, 4 boards, 1.5 assists per game, shot at 37.5% from 3 on 5 attempts, and 45% from the field. I think if you've got Phillips and Wood at least maintaining their production from last year or taking a step up, and they can help along the newcomers, those 2 NAI guys, and then Matar Diop from Loyola Marymount and Colin Cool from Georgia Southern, this team shouldn't be a bottom half team. But with how low they fell last year, Defensively, one of the worst in the conference. Offensively, 10th in the conference. I'm not quite sure I'm ready to jump on the tracks in front of that train with Donnie Jones again. I'm kind of in wait and see mode with this Stetson roster. There are some pieces and some outlooks that I feel like I really like, but I'm going to try to land right in the middle of that. So I think they're bottom half for me, like 7th or 8th.
Yeah, their issues seem to stem last year from their squad being so young, and they've got yet again another kind of young squad. Their defense was bad last year. They're predicted to be about as bad this year, Torvik-wise. The only real gambling angle I see on this team is taking Vargo point props early before people figure out that he can score at will, and that scoring kind of has become one of the easier translatable parts of the game in college basketball now. Just, we favor the offense a little bit, and it's kind of really the only bright spot that I see. I've got them in the bottom tier personally.
I think I'm probably with you, Troy, on them being a bottom tier team.
Just don't play defense.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns, and they're young again. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be 8-24 bad like last year, but I think maybe split the difference between that first record on the screen, 17-14 and 8-24. I don't think they're going to come close to 20 wins, but they'll get back into double-digit wins because Jones is just a proven coach. Final team, the West Georgia Wolves, baby. Dave Moore, year number 8. Last year was their first year in Division I. They went 6-25. They were really good at the Division II level the last couple of years, as you can see, 27-6, 21-10. They took another chin though last year in the transition. Do we see a little bit of a step here, Noah, or is it more the same with these struggles?
Yeah, this was another program that I really did like when I was talking about coaches that have been hired from D2 or NAI or junior college. And then this one necessarily wasn't a hire, but they had really good success in the Division II level for West Georgia. And they've got quite a bit returning. I think I like this most when you're talking about returning production. You got Shelton Williams Dryden, who last year 17.5 points, 7.5 boards, 1.5 steals, 1.5 steals per game, 1.5 assists per game. When you're talking about guys that just stuffed the stat sheet in almost every way, this was one of them, and he's one of the better returners in this league. You also have Colton Griffin, who played 30 minutes a game last year, averaged 9 and 4. And then Malcolm Newell is a senior point guard that's returning. He played 22.5 minutes last year. Not a starter by any means, but enough to, kind of feel confident that he'll be able to take a step up with more of an expanded role as well. He shot at 36% from deep on 2 threes a game. And then Braden Hartwig, who in his redshirt freshman year only played 14 minutes a game. He shot at 31% from 3 and was able to get up 2 attempts per game when he saw the floor as well. So I like the 4 returners that are expected to have pretty big roles on this team. And the transfer portal grabs aren't, sexy, but I feel like they fill some needs. Javar Daniel is a really nice defensive piece. He comes in from Austin Peay. He's a 6'10 forward that is a junior. He only played 7.5 minutes a game, but they're expecting him to be a pretty good rim protector here. Micah Smith is a 6'7 wing who only played 12 minutes a game for Georgia Southern last year. Matija Zuzic is a UT Martin transfer who played 23.5 minutes last year per game for the Skyhawks. Those two, Zuzic more offensive minded, Smith more defensive minded, good length for the outside there. And then Josh Smith comes in from NC Central, who only played 13.5 minutes per game, but scored 9 points per game in the time that he was on the floor, shot at 37.5% from 3. There are a couple of guys that were redshirt freshmen last year that also may fill in some of the rotation. But overall, I think West Georgia, I think they take a step up out of that basement, and I believe in Dave Moore and the program to finish more near the middle of the pack this year.
Yeah, I guess I'll take the Colby Dant mantle here for the next 30 seconds. Whenever a team transfers up to Division I and they're not gaining an advantage and they're still postseason ineligible, one of the dumbest rules in sports, that's up there with forfeiting a Ryder Cup match and splitting the point. That's up there with one of the dumbest rules ever. I can basically firmly say that I think this team takes a step up, but your step up's from 4 wins. So, in the conference, I see them winning more games than that. I like that their transfers dipped their toes in the portal and decided, no, we're going to stay here at West Georgia. I see them definitely better than last year, and probably still a bottom tier team, but they should look much more competitive.
Cosign. I was surprised at how much they struggled in year one, because Bellarmine was good their first year coming up.
It's kind of hit or miss with a lot of these D2 programs, because you look in the NEC. I think Merrimack hit right away, but Stonehill, who was also pretty good, did not. So yeah,
Queens in this league, they've held their own. I this was a good program at the D2 level, so I would imagine that they do take a step forward. All right, rankings time. Everybody's favorite parts. At number 12, I got North Florida. It's a complete wild card team and new coach. I'm out on the Ospreys this year.
Yeah, I also have North Florida. Just a really weird situation for me. And Bobby Kennan stepping in as interim, able to keep some of that team together. But overall, a lot of these teams don't have a lot of returning production, so it's not necessarily a UNF specific knock, but it just doesn't give you a whole lot of reason to believe that there's going to be a lot of success this year.
I think you're on mute, Troy.
I was going to say, do you guys want to roll through this as a snake? Like I can do 12 and 11 here, but I also have North Florida at 12. Just so much unknown. I don't really feel any confident in putting them anywhere else. And at 11, I'm going to put Central Arkansas there.
Back to you, Noah.
Yeah, I'm now realizing that what I said on some of these programs, I'm going to end up being a little bit lower. I like to keep notes on what I was saying, and I was just a little bit higher than I wanted to be on a lot of these. I didn't deliver a blow that was harsh enough. Central Arkansas, 11. I like John Shulman, but I don't think the program has an identity yet.
I went Stetson at 11. A lot of the same things I just talked about with North Florida, I feel like are the same as Stetson. High variance. I do like Donnie Jones, but I'm not bought in on this roster. And then at 10, I got the Wolves of West Georgia. They get out of the basement, but they still have a little bit of work to do going into year 3 after this year.
I'm going to go with Stetson. I said I was a little bit higher on them in the actual preview portion, but yeah, I mean, there's some really good returning pieces here and some portal gambles that I kind of see what could make this team be a top half team, but right now they're not. So I'll put the Hatters there at 10.
Yeah, my number 10 team is going to be the team taking a massive step forward from number 12 to 10 here, West Georgia. Again, kind of the same with the 12 and 11. There's a little bit of unknown going around there. Kind of like a few of their guys that they bring back. So, like I said, I see them going forward, but it's going to be, it's a tough climb coming up from D2. And then at 9, I have Stetson, a little bit higher than what you guys had it there. But again, these 4 teams were all very firmly on my pen and paper notes. Bottom tier, 100%. So I put those 4 down there.
I have Bellarmine 9th.
Hater.
I like Jack Garasinski and a couple other guards that are returning there, but first-time head coach, also just been really bad defensively in this conference. So 9th, Bellarmine.
Hating on the staples. At 9, I got Central Arkansas. So Shulman takes a step out of the basement into 9th, proven coach. I think they take a little bit of a step this year. And then at 8, I do have Bellarmine, year 1 of Davenport Jr. here, taking over for his old man who's controlled the sideline for 20 years. So interested to see what this new era looks like for Bellarmine.
I am going to go with West Georgia here. Love the returning production in a league that doesn't have a whole lot of it, especially with Sheldon Williams-Dryden. They were a really good D2 program. There's some reason to be a little bit bullish and believe in a coach that's been there, done that, compared to a couple others that haven't had some recent success.
Yeah, 8 is where I have Bellarmine. This is where my mid-tier personally starts. I do see them a little bit better than what's predicted and where they were last year. And I love my white staples, man. You don't have to dribble the basketball to play basketball. You can just pass it. It moves fast. Everybody teaches you that when you're 10 years old. You can't ever run as fast with the ball as you can pass it. And those Bellarmine white boys take that shit to heart. So you got to love it. Always entertaining to watch. And then above that, I've got Jacksonville.
So we're at 7 here.
Yes.
Yeah, we're at 7.
Lipscomb. They've got a couple of D2 gambles and some seniors that didn't play a whole lot from last year and a new coach. So got them right smack dab in the middle.
I have Lipscomb as well in the middle here at 7. So to your point, new coach. We'll see how it works out, but they take a big step back. 6, I got Jacksonville, Jordan Mincy and company. They are missing, or they did lose a good amount from that 20-win team last year, but I do like the Dolphins in 25-26 to be chippy, man. We know what we get with the Dolphins. They'll play hard.
Yeah, I've got Jacksonville there as well at 6. Jordan Mincy, solid defensive foundation, high floor. So I got him in the top half.
This is where I have Lipscomb. Again, like we all kind of agree, a pretty big step back that seems to be exacerbated just by the fact that they were so good last year. They're still going to be a mid-tier team. I see, just not that super high quality team. And then what we've got 5. I'm going to go Queens here at 5. I see Queens really firmly jumping up into the challenging position here for maybe even like pushing their name towards the top tier.
I'm getting a little confused over here on my pad of paper. I might have forgot a team. Mac, go real quick. Let me figure this out.
At number 5, I got the Govs of Austin Peay. A little bit up and down with Gipson. I want to see if we're getting more of what we saw Gipson year 1 versus last year 2. They do have a lot coming back. The roster does look good, but yeah, I want to see Gipson put together a second good year in Clarksville before I crack them into the top 4. So I got Austin Peay at 5.
All right, I think I figured it out. 5, I've got North Alabama. Experienced front court that you have to like, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time for them. They're going to be more of a team that I'm looking at back in February or March. With that junior college backcourt, it allows them to grow a little bit. I got the Lions 5th.
Top 4.
So I would be on 4 now. Yes. This is where I have Austin Peay. I want to put them up there, and I don't have the balls like Noah to drop North Alabama out and replace them with Austin Peay. But this is why it's a season preview show. We could be a month and a half from now, and I could be all over Austin Peay every single game and be the number 1 Austin Peay backer of all time. I'm a wishy-washy fan. I can be swayed by my bank income deposits increasing. So, I can move from that. But for now, I'm going to put Austin Peay at 4. And then I'm going to put North Alabama at 3. I think that is right there. You could either make 4 or 3, the beginning of this top tier here, but we're starting to get into the elite part of this conference. And I think North Alabama just has that culture to keep them up there in the top tier now.
I have Austin Peay. You got 3 players that played 26 minutes a game that do return. That's some of the most returning production in this conference. I think the Govs have a really good ceiling here. But there's some coaches and programs that I trust a little bit more. At 3, because Troy also named us 3, I'm going to go Queens. I think they've got a really good backcourt. This program can really rein in the threes. And they've taking steps up each and every year. I got them finishing third, and I think that means that you guys have them higher than me, but I'm still relatively high on the Royals.
I got the Royals. I got the Royals at 4. Grant Leonard and company. I trust that they're going to take another step, jump into that top 4 finally. I got my Lions at 3. North Alabama. I know they lose a lot, but I think they're going to contend, be there till the very end. Just because Pool Hole, we know we're getting tough program. So I got them finishing in the top 3 again. So what do you guys have left?
1 and 2.
Okay,
I've only got 2 teams left. And I had Queens at 5, by the way, Noah. So we've got like
maybe
a
little
5,
bit more
a 4, and a 3 for Queens. So
my apologies.
Oh, it's okay. I was just saying that seems pretty consistent for them to be pushing much, taking their step forward. That's one we might have to look into the season total.
Do we all have EKU in Gulf Coast 1-2, or in whichever order? All right, Noah, what's your order?
I got Gulf Coast winning it. I think that, Pat Chambers, I think this is the year. He's had also that guy, like I was mentioning with Queens, every year it's gotten a little bit better. And I like the returning production. You got Ramir Burno and Rory Stewart. And I like the trajectory of the Eagles. And I think Chambers is the next coach to get them to where they want to be, and that's the NCAA tournament. We'll see what happens this March.
Troy, how about you?
I've got the same order. I've got EKU at 2. I love the culture. I love the fact that they just continue to find ways to win conference games. But I tend to go for my higher ceilings than my higher floors, and I feel like FGCU has a couple of guys that, if they even take a half a step forward, it feels like their ceiling is high enough to easily win this league, to be honest. I think it's probably worth going tournament regular season together too.
I have them flipped. I got AW Hamilton and EKU winning their second regular season title in 3 years. This may come down to a tiebreaker, man. Last year this league was tight all the way to the very end with Lipscomb and North Alabama. I see it played out the same way. So give me EKU 1, Gulf Coast 2. Noah, what's next? Sleeper or bust?
Yeah, let's do sleeper. So we're trying to predict a team that will finish in the top 4 this year that didn't finish in the top 4 last year. So do we want to count that tie for 4th last year, Mac?
For who? Queens?
So both EKU and Jacksonville finished tied for 4th last year.
Yeah, we'll say that's top 4.
Okay, so that's top 4. So last year, the top 4 was Lipscomb, North Alabama, Florida Gulf Coast, Eastern Kentucky, and Jacksonville. Pick a team that's not one of them to finish in this year's top 4.
We're all going to pick the same team, right?
Typically happens sometimes.
I'm on Queens if crack that top 4. Grant Leonard, baby.
Yeah, I have the Royals as well. And Troy, how about you?
You know what? You guys are already on the Royals. I would be on the Royals. Let's go with the Govs. Austin Peay maybe sneaking themselves up in there. A bigger sleeper kind of further down the board last year.
And then is Lipscomb everybody's bust here?
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
From first to the middle of the pack.
First place, NCAA tournament appearance, and then, you lose your coach. So he takes a job that's a little bit higher up on the rung. Troy, how about you?
The only other one that I think has a chance at being a bust would be Jacksonville, and I don't really want to pick that. I think, like I said, they'll have an issue replacing their best player in Robert McRae, but they're respectable, and they put some effort up there. I see maybe Lipscomb having to deal with the fact that they're coming down from such a big year is also going to get in their own heads if they start to struggle. So let's just roll with Lipscomb as the best.
And pick the tournament champ for this conference. I'm going Queens. It seems like a Cinderella story. It's their first year eligible to be in the NCAA tournament. They're done with the reclassification probation. And I think they've got one of, if not the best backcourt in the conference. So I'm going to go Royals.
Troy?
All right. I know I just mentioned that I probably would play Florida Gulf Coast, but if we're gonna get cute and play the narrative role, this is EKU's. They would be leaving the league even if they weren't disbanding. So let's go EKU winning the conference tournament, going out on top, pulling the John Elway.
And I love this conference tournament because it's on the home campuses. Yeah, these environments were crazy the last couple of years.
For these leagues, I mean,
yeah.
you don't have to have a neutral site for a league like this. Just play home games and give the team an advantage for playing.
Agreed.
Give me sorry, I'm getting emotional talking about him.
Tony Pujol.
Tony Pujol, baby. Last year they finished. They lost in the championship game 2 years ago. They lost in the semis. Pujol and the Lions are going dancing this year. Let's go.
So we've all got cute narrative plays for the tournament.
Oh yeah,
I like it.
All right, man. That does it for the ASUN. The MEAC is coming up right next before the Database Top 25. So. No reason to change the channel. Stay with us. Go check out Troy Chewning at Troy Chewning. Go check out Noah Bienick at Noah B77_. I'm at Moneyline_Mac. College basketball, 5 weeks away, baby. This is the college basketball experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here.
You could change your Twitter to Noah Looby.
I know. I was thinking about it. Just Noah B, maybe Noah Baseball, maybe Noah Ball.
We got to get you doing the little shorts that Colby was doing
Ball
from
Miller,
the LeBaron.